I think you have not enough time for my mistakes. They're like this, you know. My successes are kind of easy to measure. I think to have friends like Peyton, who's playing drums for the concert, and Irene plays piano, and Rolando percussion, I think. Those are three great things I've done. I have 4 grandsons. I think that's 4 other good things I'm responsible for. Maybe mistakes. Maybe I could have been nicer to certain people that I didn't understand, you know. And if I had maybe more patience with some students, I think it would have been better, you know. But I think that I'm learning as I get older how best to do things, you know. Tonight I hope will be a great thing. Tonight I think that I will have made some good choices. And my hope is that if the audience leaves this concert with some melodies in their head, that is a great thing for me. I try everything, man, every night. It depends on what they do. It depends on how many chances they give me. And I'm okay with their with the choices they make. I'm okay with that's why they're there. They make choices. I may not always like them, I may not always hear them, but I know that they're available to me. And it depends on how well I can adjust to their choices, as well as they can adjust to mine. And that's what makes every night going to school free. It's a free class for me. And if I can keep staying a student, it'll be okay. Planning the music in my head to record the quartet in October. And if the company and I agree on that possibility, then we'll work on music for another record in October. I think it's important to get a new library available. And we have new tunes in the book, and maybe we'll play one tonight. We'll see how it works. Well, I did a big band record about a year ago called Ron Carter's Great Big Band. And with 16 pieces, and it's a wonderful record. And we're working in New York, August 28th to September 2 at a place called the Jazz Standard. And I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to Japan in December for a week. So it'll be a nice chance to work with 16 guys who love music, who understand some of the choices I try to make with them. And I'm looking forward to a bigger sound than the trio, the quartet. Temporary though, I like this sound.
Yeah.
I retired from my full-time college 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm on the faculty of Juilliard where I teach the more advanced bass players. So I have 4 students a semester.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You must be happy.
Well, I am. Sometimes they aren't, you know, but that's okay. Well, I think in the States, when they stopped making money available for the programs in the school, it was a very awful thing. When I was 10, 11 years old, a long time ago, the teacher came in and had a desk. She put all these instruments, clarinet, trumpet, saxophone. She laid them all out for us, for our choices. Now the students who are now 10 and 11, they don't even see these things until they go to the library on their own. You know? So I think that's awful. One of the things the universities are doing is they're having jazz programs now. So all those kids who have an idea that jazz is around and have never had a chance to play it in their junior high schools because there was no money for a music program, or no money for the choir, or no money for dancing, or no for theater. They get to college and find out, wow, stuff is here. And they enroll in these programs to help the music survive. So I think that music programs in the school at the higher level are what's making the music stay here with us and making it grow. You have a nice program here too. Well, right now I'm listening to the Glenn Gould Goldberg Variations. And I made a record about 10 years ago called Bach Brandenburg No. 3, where I have a string orchestra in Brandenburg and I kind of play over that. It's a nice record, so I've kind of gotten back to listening to that record again. And my current jazz listening is I'm still listening to Kinda Blue. I think it's a great record, and I wish I had made that. For a very long time. My first trip was here in 1986 with Tony Williams and Mulgrew Miller. It was one of the Free Jazz Festival things way back then. And I've always wanted to come back to Brazil and visit, not as a performer. I'd rather come back here just as a person with musical interest, so I could go around and see how they do this, and how they do that, and how they do this, you know, and try to find a link in my head as to why this music seems easy for me to play, uncomplicated. I mean, I hear what's supposed to go, and I try to get there when it gets there, you know, and there's some kind of link between this music, Brazilian music, and what I hear as music. And I like to just spend time just to go around and hear these people play to find out what the connection is. I can only get here with a gig, and right now that's okay, because I like playing here, you know. But I don't know what the connection is musically. I just hear a connection, you know. When I asked Jobim after meeting him, what should I play? He said, well, play what you always play because it works with the music. Well, that's okay, but I got to do it to find out that's true, you know. So we're, you know. So I'd like to come back here at some point as a tourist and just tour the drum schools and do the samba schools and then tour the jazz classes here just to find out what makes our music, their music, so common with my music, so now it becomes our music. So I won't say a particular one. The first one they did was Jobim Stoneflower. And that's a favorite of mine because I hear it on the elevators all the time and in the grocery stores, you know. It's a great music, a great disc. But I make good music with Milton and Musha and Marcos Valley, you know, Flora and Aerto. So I've made Hermeto. So I've had musical fun with all these people. And I won't say that one is better than the other because they all are in my heart, and that's okay with me. Well, you know, I think music has a language of its own. And I think every performer hopes that when he leaves his house and gets to the stage, he has a story in his head. You know, composers, you know. And I like to think that I'm like those people. That when I leave my house, I have a story in my mind. And I write this story down in terms of the songs that make this story possible to the audience. And I tell the band, for tonight, this is our story. And I always hope that when we do the story, that when the audience leaves, they take a paragraph from our story, or they take 3 words from our story. For me, music does that. You know, it doesn't stop arguments, you know, it doesn't make the price of oil get cheaper. It just helps people hear someone else's story. And if we can make that happen, then music for us is a way to exchange stories, you know, exchange paragraphs, exchange pages from our own book. You know, and if we could do that, that works for me.